Good morning. I make videos in different moods and energetic states, as you know. Sometimes I make these videos when I did not sleep so good and I'm just carried by pure willpower. Sometimes I make them in the high energy states that should be normal for people who live a healthy lifestyle. Sometimes I make them in a satirical state when I try to show how absurd certain narratives or realities in the world are, when I put myself in the role of a narration, like I play a role in a video sometimes, just to try to show how absurd some some things are in the world or how I see it. However, um today I have reflected recently about we I made a video about how one can self-assess whether they are a narcissist or not. But yeah, now I just reflect on something. I would say having a bad conscience, having a bad conscience is not a bad thing. Um, so when you feel that you did something wrong or that you missed the mark. By the way, missing the mark means sin. To sin means missing the mark, and it does not have to be connected to being religious necessarily. Sin means you miss the mark and you feel it. It means nobody has to teach you what a moral core is because you have a moral core. You feel it yourself when you miss the mark. And it even can be that um you are a truth speaker and a truth seeker, and you said something that is basically true, but you still missed the mark. It is possible that we just we just feel it and we repent it. We feel we went too far, we involved too many people, or we crossed somebody who did not deserve it. um we need to remember, when we coming from the background of narcissistic abuse, this is my channel, right, the topic of my channel, that we fell for the deception in the first place. We fell for these people, for narcissists or psychopaths, and for these patterns in the first place. We wasted years of our life with this, okay? And I would not want to see it like a waste, because it was a necessary teaching for us. But this means that others can also be influenced by this power dynamic that has been created inside the shared fantasy cult. And it could happen that we fight too fiercely to recover our, you know, identity. We have not lost it. We realize we have not lost it. Nothing is lost, nothing has changed. It is a delusion that has distorted reality, and inside the dysfunctional cult, this is being seen as a form, or projected as a form, of distorted reality, and it can influence other people. They fall for it. And yeah, what I want to say is, we have to give time to people to catch up to the reality who we really are without seeing the same monster in them that we're fighting. We should not see the same monster we're fighting in everybody just because other people might be influenced by the narrative control, um, or a bias, or even, let me say, a sympathy for the same people we fell for. And we need, it's very difficult to be patient when we change our habits. It takes years till it manifests in reality. When we change our habits of um, the hygiene of with which people we surround ourselves, when we change the hygiene of what we put into our body, what we eat, what we think, what we watch, and when we change our habits, all of this takes months and years to take a physical change, to make a mental change, to make a change in relationships that we have. So there's always this painful delay where we say, we already changed, we distanced ourselves from this, it's not us. This was literally brought from outside to us, and we have no part in it except letting it come too close to us and accepting it for too long. It takes time for all of this. When we stand in truth alone, it takes a long time to manifest in our body, in our mind, and later in the reality around us. It's a very long process. And again, it is a very important feeling to have bad conscience, to feel that we made a mistake. Because I learned, I told you that this was a necessary teaching for us to learn about these differences in people. Let me call it what it is. And yeah, in mental architecture, there is people without a moral core. They can't have a bad conscience or they repress it. So it is an important and very human trait to feel that you missed the mark, to feel that you sinned. And as you know, I associate myself with certain archetypes. We go through archetypes on this channel, YouTube channel, which means I think we should not over identify with any archetype. This would create an ego inflation, but they can guide us. And when we say we associate with a warrior or with a monk or with a guardian, or when we explore even more archaic archetypes like the dragon, we engage, as Peter Jackson would say, with the dragon that burned us, or we even spit fire ourselves. I had the impulse to make videos about spitting out the abuse that we experienced, and I also had the topic of spitting fire. When we do these things, it can be that we miss the mark, we sin, and this is okay. It's just necessary to feel it, to apologize, to confess, to repent. Go through the feeling, not repress it or project it on others. So when you fight too fiercely, when you see the monster that you're fighting in the wrong person, just because they made the same mistake as you made to fall for the wrong people, then you also become part of the monster that you're fighting, and you feel it as sin, as missing the mark. So it's a deeply human trait, and a very important trait, to feel it when you feel your moral core when you make mistakes, and you don't have to learn it. This is something very special. Most people, not most, some people, I don't know, I have no idea, I don't want to judge this here, don't experience moral as something living in themselves. They need to create an image of it, or they follow it like a rule from a book, like 10 Commandments. But I don't need this. I feel it. I feel when I make a mistake. And I go through the feeling of it, and I apologize to the person who I cross, and I repent and confess it to myself. This is deeply human, and also divides us from narcissists or psychopaths who can't feel a bad conscience. All right? They don't feel that. The psychopath is Machiavellistic, so they don't feel this. They don't feel bad about doing bad things. And the narcissist represses it. Shame. Even some narcissists might be masochistically enjoying things like that for themselves, and even extract sadistic supply if they inflict pain or struggle for others. And they also, covert narcissists especially, will predict their own downfall and that they are victims all the time, and they will therefore leverage backlash through sin. So they miss the mark, they sin, they get consequences for this, and they then say, see, I'm the victim again. So this is deeply unhealthy, self-defeating personality concept, and I just want to emphasize on the power of having a moral core and seeing your own mistakes, feeling them, go through it, reflect about it, and also to say enough is enough is a very powerful thing. I would never play with this. When you feel that the power distortion and the abuse is getting just too much, and you say enough is enough, now I wake up. The sleeping giant is waking up. This is powerful and will change your life forever. Don't play with this. But there's also another form of enough is enough, and that is when you fight for the recovery of this personality core and your personal power that never really got lost, that just got distorted inside a delusional, sick family cult of people who lack an identity core, who lack a moral core, and you're then constantly fighting to recover this in reality, because you know that in yourself you never lost it. It's just that you constantly kind of try to get this justice, this minimum justice. It's a form of fighting, constant fighting, even though you have um, you have done everything necessary, like going no contact, doing the inner work, all of that. And this is one more delay. One more time you need to be patient. One more time you need to give other people know that the time to make the same mistake as you, to follow the wrong narration, to maybe mirror the same pattern, and you need to give people the time to see with their own eyes. And yeah, all of this is a process of being very patient, and consistency is the key. But this is a powerful moment, and I would not recommend anyone to play with enough is enough. Because if you focus, if you visualize on this, on a certain thing in your life, and you say enough is enough, it will change. So if you don't want change in your life, don't use this powerful tool to change. It will demand sacrifice from you. I don't know whether you're ready for it. Alright, just this video for today. Bad conscience is not bad, it's deeply human. Thin is not religious. Thin means you have a human moral core. You feel it in your gut and in your heart area when you make a mistake. And you should not repress it. It's an important emotion. Thank you.